quality in quantity. This is the flotill story. More than a popular slogan, here is a great principle for American big business that has made a big Western business great. This amazing saga of American enterprise begins with these shapely, tasty little tomatoes, the pomodoros, native of sunny Italy. Flotill made them famous in America as the pear-shaped tomato. It was Tillie Lewis who demonstrated that the pomodoro could be grown commercially in the USA. Less than 25 years ago, she came from Brooklyn to California and found the place for the pear-shaped tomato, the magically fertile valley of the San Joaquin.
I'd like to tell you a little story that started over 20 years ago with a can of tomatoes like this one. And as the years rolled on, we added plants and we added products. Until today, I can tell you we have as complete a line of fruits as anyone, and we pack more products out of our ton of tomatoes than anyone else. In fact, we are the largest canners of canned tomatoes in the world. And not being satisfied with that, one can never stop. Having an obesity problem, I brought out the full line of Tasty Diet low-calorie foods. These are fruits. And in addition to the fruits, we have dressings, a complete line of dressings. Imagine 98% less in calories, and they're good for you. And we have maple topping, which is also 97% less in calories. And we have chocolate pudding, as you can see. And we even have chocolate topping that tastes like nothing you've ever tasted. And that is the story that started with a can of pear-shaped tomatoes like this. Instead of telling you any more about the story of Flotill and Tasty Diet that started with this can of tomatoes, I'd like to show you. And here it is.
Today, Flotill Products Incorporated is one of the 5 giants of the California canning industry, operating 3 immense plants in Stockton and Modesto, which pack more than 20 of the lush fruit and vegetable crops of interior California. This is the massive Stockton plant, nearly 350,000 square feet of production space, where thousands of workers are employed in one of the most modern of mechanized canning concerns. A second operation in Stockton is now in view in the upper part of the picture. This is Flotill's Penthouse plant, an entirely separate and special facility for the canning of meat products. 30 miles to the south is Flotill's Modesto plant, 200,000 more square feet of intensely utilized space. Throughout the entire development of the Flotill industry, Tillie Lewis has continued active in its management, the leading lady of the industrial theater she founded, and in which she has introduced striking new concepts in the preparation of fine foods. The $5 million annual payroll of these Flotill plants is a vital factor in Central California economy. Continuous experiment is one of the things that keeps Flotill out in front in the food processing industry. Here, a research assistant is measuring and mixing ingredients in a Flotill laboratory kitchen to test a new food formula. It was long experimentation like this, coupled with the alertness of Tillie Lewis to the needs and desires of American consumers, that made possible her nationally famous Tasty Diet menu of low-calorie foods. The Tillie Lewis Tasty Diet products, 36 varieties of food in cans, jars, and packages, is advancing a whole new concept of nutrition control. A complete story in itself, Tasty Diet is but one facet in the Flotill picture, an achievement that marks Tillie Lewis as one of the most progressive business administrators on the distaff side, and which helped to win for her recently the coveted American Business Woman of the Year award. Insistence on quality is another key to the Flotill story. Modern laboratories like this are full evidence that Flotill means what it says about quality. This is a full-time quality control laboratory operated in Flotill's Stockton plant by the United States Department of Agriculture. At the moment, these government-employed technicians are inspecting peaches taken from Flotill cans. At all times, the laboratory staff of Flotill and the Department of Agriculture has direct access to any Flotill product at any stage in its processing. Highly technical instruments, in this case a refractometer, are used for the most rigid analysis of every product. In addition to its own laboratory staff, Flotill voluntarily sustains these government control laboratories in each of its plants. This continuous quality check goes beyond legal requirements, but Flotill welcomes this service as a guarantee of quality to its distributors and their ultimate consumer, the American homemaker. At the Modesto Flotill plant, another laboratory provides the same impartial quality check to certify the standard of every product under the Flotill crest. Flotill has rapidly become a big and complex business, handling scores of products and turning out a $20 million annual production volume. A battery of electronic business machines is constantly clattering with the traffic job of analyzing, computing, recording, and reporting of shipments received, production volume, warehouse inventory, shipments released, payrolls, and other functions, vital processes to keep a big plant and personnel operating at full speed and under complete control.
Under the shimmering California sun, a field worker harvests asparagus, earliest of the seasonal crops processed annually by Flotill. Thrusting a long blade deep into the powdery earth, the asparagus cutter deftly shears off the long spears and places them in small piles. This lush vegetable delicacy, harvested in spring and early summer, comes from the rich peat soil of the famous Delta Islands of the San Joaquin River. Almost immediately, special field tractors follow along the rows to collect the delicate newly cut product and keep it in field-fresh condition. As quickly as the pickup tractor is filled, the operator hauls his perishable freight to a loading platform. Speed and careful handling, from the field through the complete canning process to follow, are the keys to the conservation of quality. From here, the asparagus is rapidly transferred to field stations for a preliminary trim and washing and for reloading in standard lug boxes. On arrival at the Flotill cannery, the lug boxes first pass through a hydro cooler. Then each box of chilled asparagus is packed with crushed ice to maintain its natural color and flavor. In the shortest possible time, Flotill asparagus goes into the processing line, where operators distribute the fresh spears on traveling belts for transportation to the cutting saws. Note the Flotill inspectors opposite the workers on the line, carefully scanning the product and its handling. The conveyor guides the asparagus against a high-speed bandsaw blade, which automatically trims the spears to uniform length in preparation for packing. Now the precisely sized pieces are carried from the cutting saw and dropped directly into a bath of steaming hot water. This is both a washing and conditioning process to prepare the asparagus for hand packing, clean and damage-free. To ensure perfect cleanliness, the spears pass through a system of 10 revolving nylon brushes, a second water bath, and finally are scrubbed again by a gang of 17 more of the whirling brushes. Now the asparagus is advanced on a wide conveyor to the canning tables, where it will be inspected, selected, and packed. Highly skilled workmanship is required here. Experienced personnel choose perfect, well-matched spears, appraise them for size and grade, and then slip them into cans, keeping each piece intact. Extra large or colossal sized spears are collected for a special premium pack. Finally, the filled cans are carried away toward automatic lidding machines. After the cans are sealed, they are rolled into still retorts, pressure chambers in which the cans remain completely motionless during the cooking process, a technique required to keep the fragile asparagus in perfect condition. The cooking is under precise control. Not only do these instruments accurately indicate and regulate time, temperature, and pressure, but they permanently record the complete process, a quality control system which guarantees the flotill standard for processed foods.
California Gold by the lug box, the golden fruit of the valley, apricots delivered orchard fresh to flotill. The processing of apricots begins when they are carried on traveling belts to the sorting tables. For this particular run, trained workers select the fruit best suited for pitting and cutting to be packed as flotill apricot halves. Specialized machinery is used to divide each piece of fruit and remove the pit. After they are cut, the apricot halves are automatically carried away toward the next process. The entire routine is under careful observation all the way. This observer is checking the workmanship of pitting machine operators. Department of Agriculture inspectors get this close-up at every machine of the selection and cutting of the fruit. Placed individually on a revolving wheel, the fruit is cleanly divided as it is carried against a sharp cutting edge. Now this brilliant flow of tree-fresh California fruit is moved quickly along for further selection. To keep the fruit in its original form and texture, retaining its full natural flavor until all these qualities are safely sealed in cans, is the aim of the entire flotill process. Like a cannery corps de ballet, these workers check the cut fruit and remove every piece about the quality of which there can be even the shadow of a doubt. Supervisory personnel are always on hand, constantly observing techniques and results, alert that there shall be no cutting of corners in maintaining the flotill standard. Quality in quantity is no mere catchphrase. It is a flotill policy in practice that means top standards for the final processed product. In the canning area, the automatic system delivers bright, clean containers to the canning tables. Skilled packers quickly but carefully fill them with the perfect apricot halves. Packing of the fruit does not end the quality control process. Line check inspectors continually remove cans at random to carefully examine their contents. This maze of machinery is a section of the complex can transportation system, a fascinating part of the flotill design of industrial art in form and function. What finally stays in a flotill can? This is the question of final importance to flotill and to its distributors, their jobbers and retailers, because it is the only question that counts with the ultimate consumer. Only after the most rigid inspection at every step are these cans finally moving along the conveyors and on their way into the big flotill cookers. Before we close the apricot chapter in the flotill story, stop for a moment at the Tasty Diet canning tables reserved for this low-calorie pack, one of the 36 products now in full supply in the Tasty Diet menu of fine foods. Specially uniformed personnel are at work here, packing the same careful workmanship into this specialty line that goes into the preparation of every product bearing the flotill crest, the symbol of quality in quantity. The annual flotill peach pack, a large, high-quality portion of the richest of the California orchard crops, begins in midsummer. Flotill processing of this preferred product is an exacting system of individual selection. Beautiful, mature, tree-ripened fruit is being selected by these workers, the superb product of the finest orchards. The flotill method of choosing, preparing, and packing California peaches preserves their natural, fresh fruit appeal. This is a consignment of the delicate and delicious Alberta Freestone peaches, rushed by fast trucks from field to flotill. From thousands of acres of California orchard, the peaches are rapidly assembled here, ready for processing. Box after box, tier after tier, truckload after truckload, thousands of tons of the finest fresh food available. This is a picture of quality in quantity. The perishable Alberta must be processed while it is still fresh from the branch, still firm and full, still at the flavor peak. After the shortest possible lapse of time, the lift trucks cart stacks of the laden boxes to the first point in the canning process. Timing is of the essence in the flotill process. Fruit must be prepared for packing when precisely in the right condition. The imprint on these boxes spells flotill, not fragile, but notice the light touch with which this helper places them on the conveyor belts, as if they were marked for special handling. Every worker has a responsibility in preserving the natural products in their original condition. Here there is no careless tossing about of lug boxes to crush or bruise the fruit before these peaches are prepared for canning. The box conveyor starts the Freestone peaches on their way into the plant. Washing of the fruit is the first step in its preparation. To save time and to minimize the handling of the peaches, they are automatically but gently rolled out of the lug boxes directly into the water. Labor-saving, flavor-saving mechanical equipment is used for every process possible. Steps that require handwork are performed by skilled and well-trained workers. While flotill must handle a tremendous volume, there can be no compromise with quality at any point. Without being removed from the conveyor belt, the boxes continue directly on their way across the plant to the empty box loading area. Hauled to the top of the plant, they are pulled through a box washing shed. Then, like Coney Island roller coasters, they go sailing down the other side. Here they will be stacked for reloading and returned to the orchards to keep a steady supply of fruit arriving at the cannery. Meanwhile, the fresh orchard fruit has been carried up from the washing tanks and sent rolling down these long tapering channels, a device which automatically grades the fruit for size. As they glide along the widening grooves, the smaller peaches are dropped out first, while the larger ones are carried farther forward. This classification means perfect uniformity of size when the peaches are later packed in cans. On another conveyor belt, a wide, glistening ribbon of the twice-washed and size-graded fruit is carried gently forward toward the cutting and pitting process. En route, a fine water spray gives the peaches another rinsing. They must be thoroughly clean before they are delivered to the next operation. The steady flow of prepared fruit is divided into smaller streams for distribution among the scores of workers in this peach pitting gallery. Splitting the fragile Freestone peach and removing the pit requires high-quality hand work. These women are not merely casual laborers, they are skilled and trained for a precise job. Employee cooperation is another factor in the flotill formula for quality. Personalized management strives to make everyone satisfied in his or her job. Top industry wages, modern employee benefits, good working conditions, transportation facilities, and other special services make the people of flotill realize that they are important to the flotill operation. Hundreds of workers have proved by their progress how many opportunities for career advancement are provided by the big flotill organization. Now the peaches in process have arrived at the canning lines. At each canning station, the overhead conveyors deliver a steady supply of containers where skillful packers will fill them. The expert canners here work deftly and quickly, but with the utmost care in the selection and handling of the fruit. Immediately, the beautifully packed cans will be carried to the syruping machines. Here, the peach halves are submerged in syrup to sustain the natural flavor of this select fruit. It's a well-tuned industrial symphony, this modern, mechanized, streamlined cannery. Activity and tempo most fascinating of all, perhaps, to Tillie Lewis. A little more than 20 years ago, she opened her first canning plant, operated almost entirely with manual labor processes. We will leave the Freestone Peach Run as the sealed fruit is forwarded to the immense pressure cookers, where the packed cans will be kept at the correct temperature and pressure for the right length of time. Yellow clingstone peaches are also one of the major packs at Flotill. The clings are a firmer variety of fruit which is perfectly prepared for canning by an almost 100% mechanized system. Here is a battery of 95 new type pitting machines for cling peaches. This modern automation is one of the reasons why Flotill production has grown from a total of 91,000 cases in 1935 to more than 6 million cases annually during recent seasons. Flotill is tooled throughout with recently perfected food processing machinery, devices engineered both for the volume of such a plant as this and for the production standards which Flotill management demands. Watch the speed and accuracy with which these machines do their specialized job of peach pitting. Long research and exhaustive experiment went into the development of equipment like this, a tremendous investment that helps to produce quality in quantity for Flotill. Farther along on their mechanized way, the peach halves are pouring out of big revolving steam drums after they have been automatically peeled. Almost no handwork is required up to this point. Now the fruit is being conveyed towards sorting and grading tables for close inspection and selection. The Flotill production manager, with the superintendent of the Modesto plant where this peach run is in progress, is on one of his frequent tours that cover every operation in all three of the Flotill canneries. The Modesto Flotill plant handles one of the largest peach canning operations under one roof anywhere in America. Here's another ingenious device, a sort of shakedown for the size grading of the cut, peeled, and pitted cling peach halves. Gently jiggled through the progressively larger perforations, the fruit can then be forwarded to the proper slicing and canning tables. From this automatic grading system, the peaches slide through a series of chutes, dividing and directing the flow of raw material. Like a complex railway switching yard, these multiple systems of traveling belts move each grade of fruit along the right track. Those selected for packing in halves are dispatched directly to the canners. Others will be routed first through the slicing machines. The firm texture of yellow clingstone peaches makes them the ideal variety for packing in slices, a product of great popularity and versatility in all menu planning. Among the really delicious blends of natural flavors on the canned foods market is Flotill's Fruit Cocktail. 5 first-quality fruits are combined in this refreshing mixture: diced pears and peaches, pineapple tidbits, seedless grapes, and cherry halves. To preserve the individuality of this famous brand of cocktail mix, absolute control of the ingredients must be maintained both in amount and quality. Quantities of freshly prepared fruit of each variety are placed on stainless steel turntables. As the tables revolve, the containers are automatically brought into place under the outlets at the circumference of the discs. Through these apertures, the operators guide exactly the right amount of each component. The machines and processes in operation here are designed and engineered to guarantee uniformity throughout the entire run of this popular Flotill product. Just a few glimpses now into the handling of Bartlett pears in a flotill cannery. This contrivance is removing the skins from pears almost instantaneously. Here again, machinery designed with amazing delicacy of control is making it possible to produce the finest quality pack in volume undreamed of a few years past. Just as rapidly, another mechanism extracts the stems and cores. Bartlett pears are a highly fragile product, one that would seemingly be demolished in powerful, relentless machines like these. But actually, these robot-like devices handle their delicate freight as if they wore kid gloves. Here is a close-up of the process in which the machine peels the fruit and disposes of the paring so rapidly it is difficult to see just how the job is accomplished. But these power-driven steel fingers never crush or bruise the product. No handwork could keep this fruit in better condition. Now a third machine is turning out pear halves ready to be packed in cans. Bartlett pears are one of the 8 major products now packed in quantity at flotill plants. A quick glance now inside Flotill's penthouse plant for meat products. Portions of fresh beef are being weighed out for the manufacture of beef stew. After emerging from a huge mechanical peeler, the potatoes pour out of a dicing machine and will then be carried into an immense mixing bowl where diced carrots are added. The potatoes and carrots are also California Valley products, cultivated in the rich soil of the San Joaquin Delta area. Meanwhile, in this towering row of outsized kettles, the gravy is being prepared by the thousands of gallons for our penthouse stew. Quality and quantity is a principle applied as truly to the packing of meat products as to the fresh fruit and vegetable packs in the flotill canneries. The same careful kitchen experiment has created penthouse meat products of distinctive flavor appeal. Sealed up and ready for cooking, our stew is now being rolled into big retorts where it will be carefully cooked thousands of cans at a time. The flotill story began with tomatoes, and today one of the greatest tomato stories in America is flotill. The complete account of any flotill fruit or vegetable product starts in the field, because this is where flotill research service begins. The excellence of the California tomatoes being harvested and loaded here is no accident of agriculture. It is the planned result of scientific control that begins in the field, with study and experiment in such fundamental subjects as soil analysis, climatic conditions, and the quality of seeds. The chief field representative for flotill and one of his local managers is inspecting the work of tomato pickers. Flotill field services also include consultation with growers on problems of soil preparation, the use of fertilizers, cultivation, methods of harvesting and handling field and orchard crops, and the management of farm workers. From the day that Tillie Lewis first persuaded a few valley farmers to plant some of her pomodoro seeds, flotill has stimulated the cultivation of thousands of acres of tomatoes, helping to make San Joaquin County one of the greatest areas in America for their production. Stacked in the flotill yard at Stockton, you are looking at 50,000 boxes of tomatoes, 1,250 tons of them, 2.5 million pounds of them ready for processing. Yet even this fantastic mountain of produce represents only 1/2 a day's work at flotill's peak capacity, for this beautiful California harvest will be processed in the world's largest canned tomato plant. These are the big, brilliant, round tomatoes, tumbling first into a washer before being carried into the plant to be canned as whole tomatoes or to be utilized in the manufacture of other tomato products which flotill also processes: tomato paste, tomato sauce, puree, pizza and chili sauces, and tomato catsup. The most perfectly formed of these field-ripe tomatoes are selected for the solid pack run. Operators remove the stem and core by placing each tomato against a special rotary cutting blade operated by hydraulic power. The whirling cutters are concealed by the rubber guard which holds the tomatoes in perfect, unbroken form. Notice the uniformity and the excellent firm condition of these tomatoes selected for the solid pack after the cores have been removed. They are traveling now on a conveyor headed for scalding ovens which will prepare them for peeling. Another heavily loaded belt is moving toward the catsup making machines. On they roll, an inexhaustible river of tomatoes pouring through the flotill plant, hundreds of tons of them every hour, as many as 5 million pounds of them in a day. Meanwhile, the solid pack run has passed through the scalding ovens and is brought along to the peeling tables. With practiced sleight of hand, the operators remove the skins from the tomatoes and at the same time carefully edit them for any irregularities that would disqualify them for the fancy flotill solid pack. Finally, these colorful, top-quality California tomatoes are brought to the packing tables to be placed in cans. At this station, cans of peeled tomatoes are filled up with tomato juice, machinery keeping pace with the tremendous volume of the flotill tomato run. Tomatoes, both the pear-shaped type popularized by flotill and the standard round varieties, are among the big reasons why the flotill Stockton operation is among the biggest employers in San Joaquin County. In the foreground now, a line of tomato cans is moving past a salting station. This device places exactly the right portion of salt in the top of each can before it moves on to be sealed. Just a footnote on good working conditions at flotill. In the center of the picture now is one unit of the air conditioning systems installed throughout the processing departments. Here is a machine filling catsup bottles at high speed. Once around this catsup carousel and the bottles are full. As they whirl through this rapid process, a close look will reveal the bottles filling up with that taste-stimulating catsup hot and fresh from the flotill kettles. Then they spin off onto another conveyor that will guide them successively to capping, washing, and labeling machines. Blank aluminum caps are spun onto the catsup bottles with a simple twist of the wrist of this rapid-fire machine. The threading is formed on the machine as the caps are turned onto the bottle tops. In preparation for their labeling and packing in cartons, the catsup containers now go marching off toward a washing and cooling chamber where a system of water sprays will gradually reduce the temperature. This device nudges a whole line of bottles off the conveyor and into the cooler. Still another example of quantity production methods and machinery. Coming out of this cooling system, the catsup bottles are automatically picked up on another traveling belt, which will carry them to the high-speed labeling machines. The flotill market demands volume, hence quick-paced operations like this, where labels are stuck to bottles almost too fast for the eye to follow. At the same time, the production volume of the several flotill tomato products does not mean for a minute that quality has been forgotten or is somewhere in the background. The same continuous inspection and the same exacting laboratory analysis that we saw illustrated in other flotill runs is applied with equal care to the processing of all tomato products. At a similar pace, these rapidly rolling cans are picking up flotill labels while spinning on their way toward machines that will pack them in cases ready for warehouse storage. The operator here simply unfolds a fiberboard packing case, holds it in position, and with a single thrust, the packing machine fills it with cans. After all these processing, inspecting, and packing operations for the flotill products we have seen, the finished cases find temporary storage at the plants. Flotill maintains more than 180,000 square feet of warehouse at the Stockton plant alone to guarantee wholesale distributors a steady supply of flotill products on order. Thousands of cases of flotill foods are moving out of this warehouse daily. This lift truck is loading a boxcar on the flotill spur. No cannery operation is more ideally located for distribution facilities than is flotill. 3 transcontinental railways have mainline routes through Stockton. Stockton is also a center of Western highway transportation. Major truck freighting lines operate service and terminals here. Stockton and Modesto are both located on U.S. Highway 99, which connects directly with all transcontinental highway routes. Flotill's Central California location, served by every major transportation method, helps to make its service rapid and efficient. Flotill products are distributed by truck, by train, and by ship. Scores of big, fully loaded highway carriers like this pull out of the flotill yards daily. Flotill also is located at an inland port of call, served regularly by principal steamship companies. Shipping cases bearing the flotill imprint are a familiar sight dockside at the port of Stockton, and flotill tonnage is important in the development of this unusual transportation service for the valley. Up and over the side the sling loads go. Flotill products, destination everywhere. For centuries, California has been a land of legend and a symbol of wealth. Today, the golden fruit of its orchards, vineyards, and fields is the most valuable product of the Golden State. Flotill operations are located at the very heart of this productive commonwealth, a dynamic business giving a new beat, a new and faster rhythm to the American canned foods industry, a business institution which conserves the finest part of the fruit of this land and sends it across this nation with all of its original, flavor-packed, health-packed qualities safely secured in flotill cans. Flotill Products Incorporated means quality in quantity.